Welcome, Utah wrestling fans. We're here again. We've taken a couple weeks off, but we'll get back on schedule. So today I have with me Cole Kelly. We're going to be going over 3A team previews, and then also the UVU Inter Squad is tonight at 7 o'clock at UVU at the Lockhart Arena, so make sure you're there. A couple announcements. This week we have really the start of our youth wrestling season starting. We have Morgan is running a tournament, Syracuse all girls, and then Pleasant Grove's running a tournament. So make sure if you haven't registered, get registered for those tournaments. And then pretty much every week from here on out, we have events and tournaments going. So there you go. There's a quick announcement, and then we'll get started. First, 3A team previews. So we've got all those out. They're all published. Tomorrow we'll publish our fan polls. But to start off with our 3A teams, last year, we had UAB first, Delta second, Morgan third, and then I think it was Union fourth, Emory fifth, and then South Summit sixth, South Sevier seventh. Anyway, so UAB looking pretty tough again. They returned 12 qualifiers and 8 state placers, which I do believe 8 state placers is the most of all the 3A teams. So, I mean, and I don't know, Cole, how much you kind of know of the 3A, but I would expect UAB to repeat.
I think they're doing a good job in the youth program. I know that's where I spend a great deal of my time right now, and they're doing a great job. There's a lot of kids coming through their youth program there. You've got the Cowans that got their own thing going as well that they're helping out there. And I think, for a long time, you're going to see UAB be a tough team to compete with.
Yeah.
Because of what they're doing at the youth level and the feeder programs that they've created. So you've got, they've got some kids that are going to come in as 9th graders this year and they're going to have an impact right away.
Right. But you mentioned Cowan, their wrestling club, and, so really you have 2 clubs at UAB that are feeding UAB. Right. And, Cowan's done a good job with that club. I mean, they're competing. They competed last week in the preseason. I know they're competing this week, and UAB is doing the same thing. And so when you have, and we've talked about this quite a bit with Metal, right? Mm-hmm. When you have a program, a junior high program per se, and then you have more of an advanced program. I mean, you get kind of, it's like a double whammy. I mean, you're producing and numbers, you're producing studs, and your programs are going to thrive.
And you need both. You need both to create a good program. I think sometimes where people miss the ball is it's like, can you accomplish both? Can you have both elite kids that want to take it to the next level, that are competing at a pretty high level, but then also make sure that it's a tough sport and not everybody can handle that elite level and the intensity of it and the commitment required, just to draw from another sport, you've got rec league baseball and you got super league baseball,
Right.
And so when you got a program like UAB in the town of Nephi, where in some ways you've got a rec league program and then you've got an elite level program, I think it benefits kids, and I think it benefits programs that are willing to kind of look at that idea and create that opportunity for both types of kids.
Right. And in UAB, I think it's there, and I know you refer to it, rec league and advanced. I think you have both on both levels. I think you have beginner kids with Cowan. You have a very advanced kid at UAB. I mean, with Lad Holman and a couple others. So they have a good situation going. I think where they have 2 clubs, both feeding their program, and obviously I don't know how well they work together. Or they don't. I've never asked, but I'm assuming their kids are all going to be at UAB, and so it's a good situation for them. I think. I
think so too. In terms of how it will end up, I think it'll be great.
Yeah.
So I think you see divisions in towns at times that Vernal's another place. Uinta, and you've seen some of that with Quinn Dixon,
right?
And Workman, and their junior high versus extreme. Uinta junior, and it's going to benefit the high school program.
And you look at them. I mean, Uinta has the numbers through their junior high program, and you have extreme that. I mean, they're feeding in studs.
Right.
And I'm not to say the junior high program can't feed in studs, because they
Right.
still do. But it's just, I mean, we have 2 feeders. It's great.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, Juab, I mean, like I said, 8 state places returning, 2 returning state champs. Plus, they get Channing Warner coming in. They're going to be tough to beat, I think.
I think so too. The thing, I mean, you look at the teams that could challenge them. You look at Delta, that is always the thing that Delta always does really well is they've always got those numbers.
Right.
They've always got good number of kids, and they're always tough, hard-nosed, quality kids. Toughness is never a problem with Delta kids.
Right.
You know they're going to fight for you and they're going to battle. I think some things to watch out for though is you've got American Leadership Academy that I think may start to make some waves in the 3A.
Oh, yeah.
They've got some kids that are starting to feed into that program. You've got Tucker Ray that's worked a lot in the off season with a lot of these kids, and now you're seeing some of those kids choose to go to American Leadership Academy. And so it'll be interesting to watch.
You got minors that move over there, and I mean that's a huge pickup for them.
Sure.
So I mean, and I'm just looking at ALA's lineup, but you have Lucas Carrillo, who's going to come in right away and compete for a state title. You have Sage, who came 4th last year. You have the Rasmussen twins, who are going to be tough, probably state placers or close to it. The Cantos, the Miners, the Mortimers. I mean, they got Justin Mitchell in the upper weights. And they've got a good team. So ALA, definitely a sleeper that can come up and place. I don't see them challenging for the title this year.
No, I don't. Not yet. Not yet, but I think they'll move up the ranks. I think
they came 9th last year. They be higher than 9th.
And another team I think that you'll see climb is Sal Sevier.
Yeah,
I know Sal Sevier has a lot of returning placers, some state place, a lot of returning state qualifiers.
Right. I think they had last year 21 kids qualify for state, and only 5 of them were seniors. So they have 16 returning qualifiers, 5 returning state placers. The qualifiers are 16 is the most of any 3A team returning, including Juab, Delta, the most. And so that's now obviously for them to compete for the title, they've got to turn qualifiers into placers,
right?
And the placers into champions. And that's the question mark. Can Sal Sevier put in enough state placers to compete for a state title? And my money's on Juab still, but my dark horse would be definitely Sal Sevier.
Well, when you look at the 3A, you really kind of have to say it's a 2-team race, and then who's battling for 3rd.
Yeah.
And added no disrespect to the other teams right now, but I think that Juab and Delta are just at a different level than the other teams in the 3A right now.
See, I think Juab and Delta are number 1, like you said. It wouldn't shock me if Sal Sevier, got in there somehow.
Broke into the top 2.
Broken in the top 2. 3A is not super deep. It's not as deep as some of the other classifications, in my opinion. You have Emory in there that's pretty tough as well.
Emory's got a lot of good individuals.
They do. They have the Christiansen boy that's coming in who's super tough. And they could I think they're more battling for 3rd. And I think Sal Sevier is battling for 3rd, but I also wouldn't count them out to break up the top 2, I guess.
Okay.
Then you got Union, ALA, that will be battling for 3rd. And I, for the most part, I agree that it's a 2-team race, and then it's battle for 3rd. The only one that can play spoiler to that, in my opinion, is Sal Sevier.
If they can turn those placers into finalists,
right,
and turn those qualifiers into placers,
right,
yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anyways, that's 3A. Quickly going through 3A, but it should be a fun race again. For the state title, and then also for those that are into 3A, a race for 3rd, kind of give you a 2-tier race there. So, all right, moving on. Next, let's go over UVU.
We got our green on.
We wore our green.
I mean, I'm black, but it's UVU wrestling
right,
shirt, so I'm excited.
If you'll be there tonight, Cole will be your announcer, and I'll be helping him. So we'll be on the mic. We're prepared. We're ready for this.
Yeah.
So, Cole, we'll start. Just give us your thoughts.
You know,
overall?
the thing that I love. I mean, obviously, it's the only college wrestling program in the state. It's a program that if you're not behind the program, you need to be behind the program. Whatever issues that you may have with supporting UVU, put them away and let's get behind this team. I feel like every year we see progress with the program as a whole. I mean, year in and year out, the consistency of all Americans, I think, is something we'd all want to see, right? And we've had Ben Kerr, and we've had Jade Rouser, and we've had all Americans come out of the school. But every year, I think you see the lineup improve, and you see the quality of wrestling when you're showing up at duels, and the level that we're seeing kids compete at. I think it's improved, and it continues to get better. So, UVU wrestling this year.
Yeah, I would agree. So I do agree. I think the lineup does get better every year. I mean, this, I think, by far is their best lineup ever. I don't think that's a question. I mean, and like Cole said, they're only program in the state. We've got to get behind them. We really don't have a choice. Whether you agree with them or not, we need to support them. We need to be there for them. And I think, on the message board, and we talked about this a few weeks back, but one of the, disappointments, frustrations with people is we're not putting enough All-Americans on the podium. We're not getting enough All-Americans. We're not progressing quick enough. It seems like nowadays when we want progress, we want it now. We don't want to wait. And UVU, they're making progress every year, but it's not like South Dakota State. Bono comes in and their top 15 program.
Sure.
We're not there. But last year we were ranked in the top 25. This year we're receiving votes, and I fully expect us to be ranked in the top 25. So we are making progress.
Yeah, I think it's a fair criticism. For people to say that, but I mean, hey, the beauty of being a fan, I got to tell you, I've been on the side of being a coach most of my life, and I love being a coach. But when you're a fan, I struggled to go to like college football games, any of them, because I like listening to people criticize the coaches. And so, I mean, It happens in every sport. It happens in every program. And BYU fans think they know more than the football coach at BYU right now. I guess that's the beauty of being a fan, right?
Right.
We get to.
Right.
I mean, we get to criticize
all you want.
And so, yeah, I mean, there's going to be criticisms of the program. And I think that, I think the coaching staff, I think Greg Williams, Ethan, Luke, or Keen, I think those guys are open to the feedback. I think they're open to saying, how can we make this team a better team, and what can we do to put more All-Americans on the podium,
Yeah.
It's something that they have to evaluate as a coach. I think, generally coaches are harder on themselves than fans are. And so I think if you talk to Coach Williams, I think he'd say, yeah, we want to put more All-Americans on the board, on the podium.
Right.
So, I think it's a fair criticism, and we're getting good recruits. We're getting good kids coming, and I love the local, I love seeing, kids like Coy Wilkinson come in as a freshman, have an impact right away.
Right.
Cameron Hunsaker's off a mission now. I know he's not officially part of the program yet, but in the next few years, I think we'll see him come in and have an impact. A guy like Finley, love seeing, an former Alta wrestler that's having an impact, and it'll be, those are kids we want to see compete for UVU. It helps us recognize the value of why a program like UVU is so important to the sport in our state.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with all that. So, tonight, inter-squad. So 7 o'clock again, for those that are watching, 7 o'clock UVU, be there. We have the matchups in front of us here. We'll kind of go, we'll go weight by weight. We'll highlight some matches to watch and be excited for. We'll start at 125. 125 right now, is kind of a weight up in the air. You have Josh Jensen there, the senior from Payson. He won't be competing tonight. And then you have some other freshmen there. So you have the one freshman match that is wrestling is Will, and he's from Idaho, and Josiah Nava, I think he's from Colorado. That's the only match at 125. So kind of the outlook on UVU at 125. Right now, Josh Jensen is there, and I would
What's Josh's status?
He's day to day, nothing, just nothing. I mean, he'll be back, I'm sure, for
just recovering, coming off an injury.
I'm assuming so.
Okay.
So I would expect, between Will Edelblue and Josiah Nava, they're both freshmen. The plan is to redshirt both of those. But I wouldn't, depending on how they do with Josh, I think UVU is going to put their best guy forward, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Sure.
And I don't know who's going to win out of Edelblue and Nava, but I would expect the winner of that. I know Isaiah Delgado, he's a 133-pounder freshman. There's talk of him dropping to 125 possibly and wrestling 125 as well. But in a nutshell, I wouldn't be surprised to see a freshman there this year at some point in the season. Now, I think Josh will be the starter to begin the season, and then I guess it will depend on how he does against those freshmen. But I think they'll put their best one forward.
What is the likelihood that Mitch Brown gets to 125?
And I think that's another possibility. From everything I've been told, he'll start at 133, but the possibility of him dropping to 25 is not out of the question. And so the question, though, that I see is if he drops to 25, who's at 33?
Okay.
And you create another hole there at 33. So I think either 25 or 33, I don't know where he ends up. I think in the end, he's got to go what's best for him as far as qualifying for the NCAA tournament.
Sure.
So that leads us into 33, though. Okay. Inter squad, you're going to have the inter squad will decide the starter at 133. So first match, you have Chip Estrella, and I think he's from Hawaii. He'll be going against Mitch Brown. And then you have Baylor Stewart, a freshman. I'm not for sure where he's from, against Dylan Gregerson out of Riverton. The winners of those matches will wrestle later in the inter squad, and I do believe that will be for the starting spot. Now, I fully expect Mitch Brown to be the starter. I don't see any of those guys beating Mitch, but if Mitch drops to 25, one of those guys will be the guy at 33.
Right.
And plus, again, you're throwing in Isaiah Delgado, who I've heard very good things about, that maybe he ends up at 33 if Mitch drops down. But some freshman is going to burn a red shirt this year, and they're not going to red shirt. They're going to wrestle, I think, and I think that's a safe assumption. And unless Josh Jensen holds down 25, Mitch holds down 33, and they stay healthy all year.
As I'm looking through the lineup, I'm looking through the matches and what we've got. I think one of the things that we've seen progress with Utah Valley University is the depth.
Yeah.
It used to be if you get a guy injured, it's like the next guy down was.
Before you say that comment, let's get past 41 because we have no depth at 41. So
fair enough. I mean, but yeah, I mean there is some depth.
Right. No, there is, and all these weights have options. At 25, 33, kid gets hurt. There's 2 or 3 options behind him.
I mean, you got Dylan Gregerson in there. Right. It was a Pan Am champion.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see how he does in the inter squad against Baylor Stewart, another freshman. I've heard he's decent. And then if he can beat Baylor, then how he does against Mitch, that will really be a telling thing there. So, and we were talking before, Taylor Lamont. He's listed at 133. He's out for the season. He's hurt. He will take a medical red shirt. Next year, he'll be an Olympic red shirt. So Taylor Lamont, we're 2 years out. 2 years gone with Taylor before he comes back. So 41, there is no wrestle off at 41 right now. Matt Finley is the guy, and like we were saying, we have no depth at 41 right now, from my understanding.
So keep Finley healthy.
And that's a tall task. I mean, that's hard. So, I mean, if Finley is hurt, I would expect either 49 to drop if there's someone that qualified, which I don't know the answer to that, or a 33 to bump up and fill that spot, which, again, would mean a freshman steps in.
Sure.
Okay, 49 is another one. I do believe the varsity starter will be decided at the wrestle-off tonight. You have Josh Tolentino as a freshman coming from California, I think. He's against Matt Ontiveros, a senior. who has been the starter in the past. That'll be a first-round match there. On the other side, Dre Scruggs from Colorado. He redshirted last year, and he'll be a freshman this year against Landon Knudsen out of Maple Mountain. So that one, Matt Ontiveros, he's a senior. He's been in the starting lineup for a few years now. He's solid. The drawback I see with him is, can he put together a full 7 minutes? You know, he's been up on good kids in the past, and he ends up losing in the last period. So another one I would watch there is Dre Scruggs out of Colorado. Super fast, super quick, and he's a freshman, so he will be competing this year, not redshirting. And that will be – I'm anxious to see how he does, because there's a lot of – I've heard a lot of good things about him, and can he beat Landon Knudsen to start with, and then can he beat Matt Ontiveros for the starting spot? How will he compete? I don't know, but I'm excited to see him. That will be another match. Make sure you pay attention to at 49.
You know, I think it just the jump from high school to college is such a huge jump.
Oh yeah.
You know, so any of these freshmen coming in, if they're going to have an impact right away, that bodes well for the future.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, so if you've got a guy like Dre that comes in and is able to knock off Matt, that's big. But you know, it's a tough, grueling college wrestling. It's tough.
It is.
It's grueling.
It's super tough, and you know, Dre had some success last year, and there was glimpses of really good wrestling from him. So that'd be a match. Make sure you pay attention to. 157, another weight with a lot of depth, and again, the starter will be decided tonight. First matchup, you have Max Sultan Jr. against Jacob Disher from Wasatch, freshman. And the winner of that one will wrestle Spencer Haywood. So we could have Wasatch on Wasatch there.
Interesting.
And on the other side, you have Grant Lamont versus Raider Lofthouse. Raider was the starter last year. Grant was at 49. Grant's bumping up to 57. So you have Grant versus Raider, and then Spencer Haywood against either Disher or Sultan. I'm going to go on a limb. I'm going to say Disher wins that. So I think we have Disher, Haywood, Lamont, Lofthouse. The winners of those will compete for the starting spot tonight. So that should be fun. I mean, Grant bumping up to 57. I've heard Spencer Haywood has come a long way since last year and has progressed quite a bit. And same with Disher. So
we've got to spread out some of these Utah kids.
I know.
That's a jam-packed Utah way, isn't it?
That is. So. That will be another fun one to watch and see who comes out on top as a starter there. 65, tonight you'll see Demetrius Romero, who's an in-state qualifier. And again, the word on the street is that he's made some big jumps since last year. And last year he was ranked to the top 20. And so if he's made big jumps, he's a potential All-American. You know, and he'll be wrestling Coy Wilkins tonight. So we'll see if Coy can slow him down a little bit. 74, you got Kimball from Maple Mountain against Dante Springsteen. Dante's out of Washington, and he redshirted last year. Last year, these two wrestled at the inter squad. I think it was a 3-2 match. Dante's another up and coming kid that's going to be fun to watch. I think I've heard he's doing really well as well. Can he beat Kimball? I would be surprised.
Sure.
Will he keep it close? Probably. But, I mean, Kimball's a qualifier, ranked in the top 20. Definitely expect Kimball to be the starter there.
Sure.
184. Yeah.
So are there some of these, Jeff, that are it's a clear challenge match and the winner's going to be varsity, and others where I think it's already pretty much been decided. I mean, a guy like Kimball Bashan, I think you'd have to say it's already pretty much been decided. You
have a kid like Romero at 65, Kimball at 74. I think those are decided. I mean, even if Dante beats Kimball, I think that helps him, obviously. But Dante's going to have to show up at tournaments and compete and win. Because obviously if Dante beats Kimball, Kimball's a returning qualifier, ranked in the country. Dante's going to have to prove, that he's the guy, and he's going to have to win some big matches.
There's a couple open tournaments early on in the season where those guys will have a chance to prove themselves, right?
They'll have plenty of opportunity. I think UVU competes at the Cowboy Open this weekend, non-starters, and so people at Kimball won't be there.
Right.
But the next weekend they're going and let's just say Dante beat Kimball. I'm sure they would take Dante and give him a match, but Kimball will, in my opinion, Kimball's the guy until Dante, proves in a tournament, in a match situation, that he can actually.
Not that he's just scouted out his teammate
Right.
in the room and knows how to figure out how to beat him.
Yeah.
Right.
And even at 57, the winner of the kind of mini bracket tonight will be the starter to begin with. Doesn't mean he'll be the starter at the end of the season.
Right.
It's a little, high school and college, I think it's a little bit different. Typically high school, you win the wrestle off, you're the guy. There's
Right.
no questions about it.
Right.
In college, just because you win a wrestle off does not mean you're the guy.
Right.
If everything's equal, then yeah, you're the guy. But if one guy's killing it at tournaments, the other guy's going 2 and out, there's no question who's the guy. It's the guy that's killing it at tournaments, not the guy that's going 2 and out.
Right.
So, wrestle-offs in college are kind of taken with a grain of salt. And, they're important, and it kind of gets you a rough draft. But during the season, if you perform better, you're the guy. Right. 84, you have Will Sumner versus Jason Gissel. Gissel's out of Idaho. That's not a challenge match. Gary Yonser is at 184 and Will Sumner. Those two are the guys challenging for the spot. Gary's hurt right now, or he's coming off surgery, so they wanted to give him another week to heal up. But from all I've been told, he'll be there next weekend on the 10th when they compete. Him and Will be the guys there. 97, you have Ashton Seeley versus Tanner Orndorff. Ashton out of Juab.
Yeah.
As a freshman, he redshirted last year against Tanner. Tanner, 2-time qualifier. And then you'll have, and this is the match I'm most excited for on the night, is Jaden Woodruff versus Tanner Orndorff. Jaden's a true freshman, and I've heard some great things about him. And, seeing him wrestle Tanner, 2-time NCAA qualifier, can he beat him? I don't know. But what I've been told is that'll be a match to see. So, and that'll be exciting, even if he competes with Tanner, how that match goes. And I've never seen Jaden wrestle, but I've been told that it should be a good one. So, but he will redshirt regardless of what happens tonight. Tanner will be your guy. I don't know that at 97 again, Ashton would have to beat Tanner and then perform in competition to even have that spot. Heavyweight, you have Tate Orndorff, redshirted last year, freshman this year. He's already in the rankings. And again, I don't think that's a question that Tate is your guy. He will wrestle Ben Andrews tonight. And Ben Andrews is a sophomore. And he's tough, but Tate's your guy. I don't think there's a question there.
Well, and I mean, this is where depth helps you. How good, how nice is it to have had a guy in front of you that competed? I think he's been, one of UVU's better wrestlers come through the program. Now he redshirts under him last year, and now he gets his shot this year. Yeah. So. And
the other one at 285 is Chase Trussell against Ben Andrews. And that'll be interesting. Chase out of Morgan, one of our top wrestlers last year. It'd be kind of fun to see how he does at the heavyweight division against Ben Andrews. So anyway, that's kind of the inner squad. We kind of highlighted some matches that will be exciting that you must see. Tate Orndorff, heavyweight. Don't sleep on him. I know typically the heavyweight match is a match you get up to get a drink, you go to the bathroom. Don't do that here. Tate is one of their most exciting wrestlers, and I've seen him wrestle. He's a thrower. He's a goer. Don't go get a drink during the heavyweight match. Go during some other time, because that's definitely.
We're not going to point out what match to go during.
No,
right?
we won't. We won't point out which match, but they're.
We got love for the heavyweights. Let's just say that.
Yes,
here.
Definitely.
All right.
So.
Okay.
Anyways, before we end, Cole, give us your prediction. Does UVU have an All-American this year? Who are their best chances of an All-American? And do they, as a team, are they a top 20 team this year?
You know, I think your All-Americans they come from those upper weights, either Kimball, Bastion, 174, Orndorff, 189, or sorry,
285 or 197.
197, yeah, 187. I mean, so you know, I think that's where you're finding the strength of UVU's wrestling program right now, is in those upper weights. I feel like
you have both Luke and Ethan up there.
I was actually, yeah. I mean, there's no secret about my love for those two guys, right? I mean, Luke and Ethan, I think, are phenomenal wrestling coaches, and I think they're doing a tremendous job with those upper weights, getting them prepared. You know, in the lower weights, the injury bugs just seems to continue to get guys in those lower weights. I mean, you take our closest you know, shot at an All-American last year at 125. Taylor Lamont is out for the season, and that.
Well, and even last year, you know? People don't know this, but he was hurt last year.
Yeah,
he was out for a month right before the Big 12s, and he was never 100% healthy. Right. And people don't understand that he made round of 12 injured, which is pretty good.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, I mean, and so that's, but I think if we're gonna get an All-American, it's gonna be up in those upper weights. So Romero or Bastion or Orndorff.
I think my prediction: Tate Orndorff, best shot of an All-American.
Okay.
As a freshman, best shot of an All-American is Tate Orndorff. I think number 2, I'd give it to Demetrius. But those would be my 2 picks. The best chance, hopefully, we get more. So, top 20 team.
Yeah. I think you've used a strong dual meet team. And you know, you go down through the lineup, and I don't feel like there's weak spots in the lineup. So I feel like they're a good dual meet team. And I think, you know, a lot of times those rankings are going to come from, you know, how they match up with teams in dual meets, you know, throughout the season. Come NCAA time, you've got to put people on the podium if you're gonna break into the top 20. So, you know,
I think I agree with you. I think they are a top 20 team if they're healthy. I think that's the biggest question mark. If they're healthy, they are a top 20 team. We'll find out right away. Next weekend, they wrestle Nebraska and Rutgers. Nebraska is a top 10 team. Rutgers, I think, is around like 18 or 16 right now. And I was actually going through the lineup of Rutgers. We have a chance. And I don't know if Rutgers lineup super good. I think where we are going to hurt against Rutgers is, Suriano and bonus points. I think they have a couple weights in there that they may be able to get bonus points. And if they get bonus points, it's going to be tough. Because in a college duel, most of your matches are not bonus points. And so if you give up 2 pins, then that's huge.
Yeah.
And so that's the concern with Rutgers. I think I see is, they have a couple studs that, with Suriano at 25 or 33, wherever he ends up being, if we can avoid, bonus points there. And then I think there's one more way. I couldn't remember where I was concerned.
See, that's where when you start talking about top 20 teams, okay, you look at a dual meet situation with Rutgers UVU, and we have a chance to win that duel, right? But Suriano's likely to be on the podium. Right. He may end up being at the top of the podium, right? But he's going to be on the podium. And I know there's another way too. Can't remember which one. But there's, and so that's where UVU, if they want to be a top 20, they've got to put guys on the podium at the NCAA tournament.
Yep, I agree. So anyways, come tonight. It starts in about 2 hours. It'll be fun. Watch these matchups, see what they have. It's going to be exciting. Part of the team will be at the Cowboy Open on Saturday, not the starters, and then next week they start, and next week they wrestle, like I said, Rutgers and Nebraska, which will be, if they win against any of those teams, they're top 20 right away, and hopefully that happens. So anyways, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back in a couple weeks with 1A and 2A preview, as well as we'll get some updates on, hopefully have power polls out by then, team rankings, things like that. So thanks for listening.